Strange, but often ingenious machines revolutionized American agriculture despite their sometimes comical appearance. Some are so remarkable for their unconventional design that they deserve to be rediscovered. Let's explore the forgotten agricultural machines that shaped rural America in the early 20th century. Number 10. The International Harvester Mogul 816. Between 1914 and 1917, International Harvester met the needs of small farms with this affordable and functional machine. The Mogul 816 was distinguished by its horizontal single-cylinder engine mounted on the side, creating an asymmetrical silhouette that many considered ungraceful. A massive flywheel protruded from the opposite side, reinforcing the impression that this tractor had been assembled from disparate parts without much aesthetic consideration. Its modest power, about 8 horsepower at the drawbar and 16 at the belt, hence its name, was sufficient for small farms looking to move beyond manual labor. Despite its minimalist operator platform and exposed steering box that gave it a skeletal appearance, the Mogul played a crucial role in the democratization of tractors. Its thin-spoked steel wheels and metal cleats offered decent traction in fields, but contributed to its overall unbalanced appearance. Number 9. The Hart-Parr 3. The Hart-Parr 3, a true pioneer of gasoline tractors, was founded by Charles Hart and Charles Parr. The company launched this revolutionary model around 1906, laying the foundation for what we would now call a tractor. Its design was extremely crude by contemporary standards. A massive horizontal engine with huge external flywheels mounted on a simplistic rectangular frame. The radiator, resembling an imposing metal box, sat at the front, while the operator's seat was little more than a simple metal perch installed behind the engine. With its 30 horsepower, the Hart-Parr 3 was designed to replace steam engines on American farms, using gasoline as its primary fuel. Its exposed gears, thick pipes, and tall exhaust chimney gave it a particularly awkward silhouette that could be described as unrefined. Hart and Parr helped popularize the term tractor in their marketing, seeking to differentiate their machines from earlier traction engines. Despite its unflattering appearance, the historical impact of the Hart-Parr 3 is immeasurable. It inaugurated a new era of agricultural mechanization, paving the way for future innovations. Very few examples remain today, but those that have survived draw attention in museums and at events dedicated to antique machinery. Number 8. The Yuba tractor, a true mechanical curiosity. Produced by the Yuba Manufacturing Company in Marysville, California, in the 1900s, this atypical tractor replaced conventional wheels, or tracks with circular ball treads. Each tread was composed of several rounded metal plates, rotating around a drive assembly, creating a strange movement reminiscent of a caterpillar. The concept aimed to improve traction and prevent sinking in loose soil, a constant challenge on the irregular farmland of the time. Unfortunately, these unwieldy rotating drums gave the entire machine the appearance of a lunar rover, rather than genuine agricultural equipment. Under the hood, the Yuba ball tread tractor was typically equipped with a 4-cylinder engine, developing between 15 and 25 horsepower, depending on the specific model. What really caught the eye was the exposed running gear with its rotary ball treads at the front and rear, allowing passers-by to observe the entire drive mechanism in action. At county fairs, spectators often joked, wondering if the tractor was missing tires or if it was literally growing metal mushrooms on its wheels. Despite its bizarre appearance, the Yuba managed to win a devoted audience, at least for a time, thanks to its exceptional traction capability in muddy or marshy conditions. Eventually, the Yuba Manufacturing Company disappeared from the market, leaving behind the legacy of one of the strangest agricultural machines in American history. Number 7. The Case 1832 cross-mounted engine tractor is the true embodiment of the term ugly duckling. Marketed between 1919 and 1928, this tractor was distinguished by its engine placed on the side of the chassis, hence its designation cross-mounted. This configuration aimed to facilitate maintenance and maintain balance of the center of gravity, but visually, it created a genuine aesthetic puzzle. The cylinder heads, spark plugs, and other engine components ostensibly protruded from the side of the tractor, giving it more the appearance of an open-air mechanical workshop than sophisticated agricultural equipment. In terms of performance, the 1832 offered respectable figures for its time. Its four-cylinder engine generated about 18 horsepower at the drawbar and 32 at the belt, hence its designation. Steel wheels with angled cleats were standard, ensuring grip in freshly plowed fields. Using this cross-mounted model, however, required some learning, as its lateral arrangement implied controls in unusual locations. The bulky square radiator perched at the front further distorted the tractor's proportions, so that viewed from a certain angle, one might have thought a blacksmith had welded two different machines together. Despite its aesthetic oddities, the Case 1832 proved to be a reliable workhorse on many farms in the American Midwest. Number 6. The John Deere GP Orchard. The John Deere GP Orchard is a specialized variant of the famous GP series. Designed between 1928 and 1935 specifically for use in orchards and groves, this tractor featured extensive sheet metal, designed to protect fruit-laden branches from snagging on the machine's mechanisms. Although this feature was eminently practical, it gave the tractor a bulbous and clumsy appearance, more reminiscent of protective gear than an elegant agricultural tool. The elongated fenders, extended hood, and fitted side panels created a voluminous silhouette that farmers found either ingenious or simply hideous. Under this ample metal covering was a two-cylinder engine developing about 20 to 25 horsepower, sufficient power to navigate between rows of fruit trees without damaging trunks or knocking off flowers. The low position of the GPO and the wide spacing of its wheels facilitated maneuvering in narrow orchard alleys, while contributing to its squat and compartmentalized appearance. Inside the driving position, visibility could be limited due to all this additional shielding, sometimes making it difficult to see in corners. Despite its ungainly appearance, orchardists appreciated John Deere's efforts. The protective panels effectively reduced crop damage, resulting in higher yields at harvest. The design of the GP Orchard also illustrated an emerging trend in the industry. Number 5. The Silver King Model 42. The Silver King Model 42, manufactured by the Fate Root Heath Company of Plymouth, Ohio. Silver King tractors were recognizable by their gleaming silver paint and compact design, but the Model 42, produced in the 1930s, was a curious three-wheeled machine that attracted attention for all the wrong reasons. Its single front wheel awkwardly protruded, while the rest of the machine resembled a small standard tractor of the time. The offset engine hood and minimal sheet metal accentuated its unconventional aesthetic, and its slender appearance made some farmers fear it might tip over at any moment. Yet, under the hood, the Model 42 was not lacking in resources. Powered by a Hercules four-cylinder engine producing about 25 horsepower, it was perfectly capable of accomplishing row crop tasks and light agricultural work. Its steering was often praised for its tight turning radius, a direct advantage of its single front-wheel design. The color was undeniably unique, a shimmering silver paint enhanced with a sober black trim, but for those accustomed to the robust lines of more imposing tractors, the spider-like proportions and squat posture of the Silver King could seem downright simplistic. Today, Silver King tractors enjoy a genuine cult following among collectors, who appreciate their historical importance and the brand's commitment to innovation, despite questionable aesthetics. Number 4. The Farmall F12. The Farmall F12, introduced in 1932 by International Harvester. The Farmall range distinguished itself with innovative row crop tractors, but the F12 presented an ungainly profile that still leaves some observers perplexed today. With a narrow front end and relatively high ground clearance, the F12 was designed to straddle crop rows without damaging them. A brilliant feature for row cultivation, but one that gave it an elongated and unbalanced appearance. The early models were often delivered with steel wheels that further accentuated its unusual appearance. The F12 was equipped with a four-cylinder engine producing 10 to 16 horsepower at the drawbar, depending on the type of fuel used, gasoline, kerosene, or distillate. Although modest, this power was sufficient for small to medium-sized tasks, such as plowing, cultivation, and transport. Its three-speed forward transmission offered farmers just enough flexibility to handle various agricultural tasks. A quick glance at the driving position revealed the minimalist nature of mechanized farming of the time. A seat, perched atop a simple frame and many exposed mechanical components. The F-12 forged a loyal clientele among farmers who appreciated its maneuverability and affordable cost, excelling particularly in row cultivation and allowing families to reduce their dependence on horses and labor. Number 3. The Avery Road Track. The Avery Road Track, produced by B.F. Avery and Sons in Louisville, Kentucky. In the 1930s and 1940s, this machine stood out for its light, wire-like chassis, as well as its high, arched front axle, designed to straddle rows of crops. Although functional, this feature gave the tractor a gangly appearance that many farmers found unattractive. Equipped with a modest four-cylinder engine, often supplied by Continental, the road track developed about 20 to 25 horsepower, sufficient to handle cultivators and light plowing tasks. Its real selling point lay in its maneuverability. The high clearance and narrow configuration allowed farmers to work between rows of corn or other tall crops without damaging them. However, this aesthetic compromise was glaring. The high position of the tractor and minimal bodywork left critical components exposed, giving it an unfinished or poorly assembled appearance. Beyond its appearance, the Avery Road Track enjoyed reasonable success among small farmers looking for a specialized tool. B.F. Avery eventually merged with other companies, and the road track range gradually disappeared as tractor designs evolved. Number 2. The John Deere Dane. The John Deere Dane all-wheel drive tractor, developed in 1918 by Joseph Dane. Before John Deere became synonymous with the classic green and yellow style we know today, there was this first attempt to create a motorized agricultural machine preceding the iconic Model D. Visually, the Dane deviated considerably from what we consider a normal tractor today. Elevated, equipped with heavy steel wheels, and enclosed in voluminous sheet metal that seemed more industrial than agricultural. Technically ahead of its time, it was equipped with a four-cylinder engine, producing about 30 horsepower, and featured all-wheel drive, a rare characteristic at that time. This innovation gave it superior traction and stability compared to many competitors, but also contributed to its cluttered mechanical appearance. Gears, drive shafts, and differentials were more visible than on other designs, and the riveted iron components gave it a somewhat ungraceful silhouette. While the engineering was revolutionary, the aesthetics were far from elegant, making the Dane a prime candidate for any list of ungainly American tractors. Number 1. The Cletrac Model F. The Cleveland Tractor Company Model F, known as the Cletrac. Introduced in 1919, this track tractor resembled a turretless tank more than conventional agricultural equipment. Although tracks were not a novelty at the time, the Cletrac design philosophy emphasized compact efficiency, giving birth to strangely squat square machines. The Model F was powered by a four-cylinder engine, delivering about 15 horsepower at the drawbar, placing it in the middle category of its class. Its tracks allowed it to move over loose or uneven terrain, reducing soil compaction compared to traditional steel wheels. At first glance, the Model F could be disconcerting. Its wide, almost rectangular hood seemed to engulf the small operator's seat placed behind it. The total height of the machine was relatively low, a feature intended to maintain a stable center of gravity on slopes. But from a purely aesthetic perspective, its compressed stature and oversized tracks gave it an awkward profile reminiscent of a beetle. While tractors of the time generally featured raw lines, the Model F's massive side frames and exposed mechanisms made it look more like heavy construction equipment than a machine designed to plow fields. Yet, despite its visual awkwardness, the Cletrac Model F performed admirably in difficult conditions such as muddy fields or hilly terrain. Many farmers appreciated its robust design, requiring less maintenance than some competitors, and its tracked running gear offered exceptional traction. Thank you for joining me in this nostalgic exploration of the agricultural machines that shaped rural America. Each of these mechanical creations, despite their sometimes bewildering appearances, played a crucial role in the evolution of modern agriculture, proving that function often takes precedence over form. I hope this dive into the past seemed as fascinating as it was instructive. If you wish to discover other perspectives on classic agricultural equipment and forgotten machines, don't hesitate to subscribe to our channel.
Big Bad John.